Dom, the Hezbollah Hiking Club.
Yeah.
It's such a great read. I mean, it's a really interesting idea. Reaching 50 wanted to do something different.
Very much so, yeah. It was a kind of two ways. I mean, 50 was kind of slight, I hate that word, midlife crisis, but you do, 50 is quite a milestone, and you think, I haven't seen my friends, I've been married, I've got kids, I haven't hung out with my friends. I mean, I do quite a lot of adventures and travel, but I do it on my own normally, and I thought it'd be really nice to do it with some friends. But also because Lebanon was the sort of first half of my life where I grew up in a war till I was about 18, but because the war was going on, I was kind of stuck in a little part of Lebanon, and I grew up seeing photographs of my parents doing these amazing expeditions around Lebanon and Syria, and even my brothers and sisters who are older, and I always felt I'd never explored the country that I grew up in. And also there was a sort of tricky relationship with my dad, so I kind of had to leave Lebanon at 18 when my parents divorced. So it was all a bit deep, but essentially it was a way of going back and reconnecting, I think, with Lebanon, and I really wanted people... I kind of felt I owed Lebanon a debt. Like, I kind of lived off it a bit when I was a kid, saying, oh, yeah, I grew up in Lebanon. And it was quite dangerous and it was horrible. But it's such a beautiful place.
Oh, it's stunning.
I mean, honestly, it's like the south of France, where we used to live. It's an hour to the ski slopes, hour to the beach. And people still think of it as a war zone. They
do. But I remember when I was a kid growing up, it was the playground of the rich and famous.
Yeah.
That's where they went.
It was the Switzerland of the Middle East. Not quite sure if that's a good thing, but yeah. Yeah, but it was. It's an amazing place, and it still is.
It's such an interesting read. And did you feel at the end of it that you really had accomplished something? Did you feel better about yourself?
Yeah. Well, on lots of levels, because whenever I was in Lebanon before, my dad and I had a very odd, quite a strange relationship, and I always slightly felt under his shadow. Right. So when I was in Lebanon, it was kind of, I had to pussyfoot around, and I was kind of, it was his place. It was amazing. The fact we actually accomplished something and finished it. I mean, all three of us were trying to lose a bit of weight. That didn't happen, because Lebanese food is the best in the world. And we got forced. The only violence I saw in Lebanon was being force-fed food by amazing women every night.
I know, just so friendly and so welcoming as well.
Oh, just incredible. But I think I've been to a lot of odd places. Not odd, but places that perhaps tourists don't go to normally. And one of the common factors, people are so happy when you go there not to write a bad news story.
Gotcha.
And, of course, I called this the Hezbollah Hiking Club, and there are people in Lebanon going, why would you call it that? Why would you have a bullet hole in the front? And I think people have that image of Lebanon, and I kind of wanted them to think, OK, that's what's that about, and then when they read the book, realise it's a love letter to Lebanon, really.
It is a love letter to Lebanon. Yeah. It really is. It was also life-saving, because when you were there, boys do snore, Dom. I know boys do snore, but you actually had a real problem. I mean, it wasn't just that you kept your pals up late at night, it's a health thing. Yeah,
well, we had a snoring room, like me and Chris snored, and the other, Harry and the guy didn't. But my wife has always, you know, complained about my snoring, and I've often woken up in the middle of the night and she's above me about to punch me in the face, and clearly there's been some argument going on that I haven't been part of. So, yeah, I knew I snored badly, and then actually about a month after the trip, I was at a bar in London. I got talking to this guy, and he said he was a sleep doctor. Well, actually, everyone called him Dr. Sleep, and I thought, is he some sort of weird drug dealer? Or like, it was really odd. But anyway, I said, God, if there's any way he could cure me of my snoring, it would really, my wife would be so thankful. And he said, well, if you're snoring that badly, you should come in and see me. So to cut long story short, I went in, I did a test where they measure your body overnight. You wear a thing on your heart and your finger, and it registers it. And it turned out I had sleep apnea.
Well, that's very dangerous.
Which is something that a lot of people have, and they don't know about. It doesn't mean if everyone snores who's got it. But what it essentially means is your body... you stop breathing, and you stop breathing for up to 80 times a night for up to 30 seconds. Right. And that can cause all sorts of complications, pressures on the heart, strokes. So I now have this very ugly, I'm sure you got a photo of it, CPAP machine.
Oh, that's attractive.
Which it's really helped my sex life, I'll be honest with you, Lorraine. And it's terrible, and I'm particularly in hotels. I was in a hotel the other day, and I had to stay in a room over the week. And, you know, this thing's hanging off pipes and stuff like that. And they rang up and said, we need to change your room. I said, oh, fine. And they said, do you mind if we move your stuff? I go, no, not at all. And they rang up 10 minutes later and go, there's some equipment there. And they obviously thought I had some sort of dungeon going on.
What's going on? What's going on?
So it's not the best thing, but it is amazing. It keeps you. And it's supposed to, you know, the main thing, though, is, you know, get fit, stop drinking, you know, maybe walk a little. So this thing...
do another hike.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
What I really liked about this is it's your story, your anecdotes, a little bit about your past, but also you see this beautiful country in a completely different light.
Well, what I really wanted to do, the thing I really like, I'm obsessed with history and politics. It's kind of my thing anyway, and it's difficult not to be when you grow up in Lebanon. But I really wanted people... I think if you said to people, I'm going to write a book about Lebanon and the history of the Civil War, they'd be like, not for me. But what I really want, this is basically just a really fun... adventure travel story, but I kind of feel people learn stuff without realising it, and that's the point of it. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you,
thank
Dom.
you so much.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Really
Thank you for having me on.
And Dom's book, The Hezbollah Hiking Club, A Short Walk Across Lebanon. It was quite a long walk across Lebanon.
That's a literary link. Short walk across the Hindu Kush.
Is out right now.